Hobby Quick Hits. Delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Hobby Quick Hits. Well, if you're like most of the country, you probably just watched the Super Bowl, and whether the team you were rooting for won or lost, and you're a football card collector, there was sort of skin in the game for you, right? What happened during the game and how people played obviously affect the hobby. We just had the NFL honors where they gave out the season awards. Congrats to Matthew Stafford winning the MVP barely over Drake May, who we're going to talk about in this episode as well. So not going to be a long episode, but we're going to, tackle the Super Bowl and what are the hobby fallout and effects from what we saw on the field going forward into next season and beyond.
Okay, now a quick word from our great sponsor, followed by the new product release schedule. Then we'll go around the hobbyverse to tell you all the latest hobby happenings and news. Then we'll tackle today's topic of discussion.
Hi, this is Pat Hughes, Cubs announcer, coming to you from the Sports Card Shop in beautiful New Buffalo, Michigan. The Gocher family has built an incredible place here for collectors to buy, sell, and trade cards and memorabilia. Be sure to stop by and let them show you around. TheSportsCardShop.com, connecting sports, athletes, the hobby, and collectors around the world.
Hi. This is Alan Pinkett, and I'm here to tell you the Gocher family has done it again. They've just opened up the Sport Card Shop in downtown Valparaiso, Indiana, and it is awesome. If you're a collector, you need to check this place out. Tell them Alan sent you and get a free gift on your first visit.
All right, it's time for the new release product schedule. A lot of baseball coming out in the next 2 weeks as we ramp up to the 2026 season. All right, starting February 11th, 2025, Bowman Draft Baseball Sapphire. 2026, Leaf President's Day. 2026, Top Series 1 Baseball. The flagship is out. Blasters, Fat Packs, Hangers, Hobbies, Jumbos, and Retail Tins. 2025-26 Upper Deck SP Game Use Hockey. 2025 Panini Prism Football No Huddle. That's on the 12th. As well as these following items will be February 12th, 2025. Topps Pristine Baseball. 2025 Benchwarmer Girls of Summer Series 2. 2025 Leaf in the Game Use Sports. Going now to the 18th, 2026, the Top Series 1 Baseball Megas and Supers are out. Also on the 18th, 2025, Panini Impeccable Live Golf. 2025, Panini National Treasures Football. 2025, Panini Prospect Edition Baseball. Also on the 18th, 2025, Top Stadium Club Baseball, one of my personal favorites, Blasters, Hobbies, and Megas. Also on the 18th, 2026, Upper Deck Allure Golf, 2025/26, Upper Deck Fleer Ultra Hockey, 2025, Upper Deck Golf, 2025/26, Upper Deck Flair Hockey, 2026, V-Friends Spectacular Series Super Stickers. Staying on the 18th, Star Trek Connections from Rittenhouse. Now moving to the 19th, as I try to catch my breath here. 2025, Panini Select Football Hobby. 2025, Topps MLS Chrome Soccer Blasters Hobby and Mania Edition. 2025, 26 Tops 3 Basketball. Moving to the 20th, 2026 Leaf Pay Dirt Football Regulars and Jumbos. 2025 Panini Authentically Mahomes. 2025 Panini or 2025 Topps Gilded Collection Baseball. Some Pokemon releases on the 20th. Pokemon Mega Charizard Tin. Pokemon Mega Evolution Ascended Heroes 2. Blister packs, trainer boxes, and mini tins. Also on the 20th, Yu-Gi-Oh! Maze of Muertos. And that wraps up your next 2 weeks. Lots of products, non-sports, baseball, other sports. As I always say, choose your weapon. Happy ripping.
Let's go round the hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
All right, let's catch up on the news since the last Hobby Quick Hits. Panini Basketball. They lost their license, or they don't have the license anymore. There's still going to be Panini Basketball. They're going to have a Donruss brand and a Signature Series release, 2025-26. Let's talk about the Donruss brand. It'll be 12 packs a box, 8 cards a pack. Again, these will be players not signed to exclusive deals. Obviously, there will not be any NBA logos. They'll be unlicensed. In the Donruss brand, there will be downtowns. Again, without those, logos. So like John Morant might say Memphis, but it won't show any Grizzlies logos, and it'll be, strategically blocked out. They're also releasing a Signature Series, which is a one-pack product featuring 5 cards. 2 cards will be base card parallels numbered to 199 or less. Another card numbered to another base card. And then a one slab auto card that will be numbered to less 49 or less. There are Kaboom inserts possible, again, without logos in the Signature Series. So Kaboom's in the Signature Series, downtown in the Donruss product. Speaking of basketball, a 1984 star, Michael Jordan, graded B Beckett 9, almost just fell short of $400K at Memory Lane Auctions. That is a new record for that card in that grade. Some Upper Deck news. It's the 25th anniversary of the 2001 inaugural Upper Deck Golf release, 25 years ago, obviously, with Tiger Woods rookie cards in it. They have the golf license, so they are releasing the 2026 edition. But they went back and they bought 25 of the original Tiger Woods cards, put stamps on them, and he signed them. And those will be in the 2026 product. There are also other Tiger Woods inserts, stamp cards. So, going to honor the 25th anniversary in a big way with that release. So let's go to hockey. Tim Hortons, with the Olympics going on, is going to release Team Canada 3-card packs. Obviously, at all Tim Hortons coffee houses. They are $1.99 each. I don't know if they limit to how many you can buy, but if you purchase a coffee or donut or any other item from Tim Hortons, you can purchase packs at $1.50 a pop rather than $1.99. It's a 100-card set. There are some parallels. There is a Nathan McKinnon and Sidney Crosby autograph cards in it. Very, 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 very rare. Almost impossible to pull. I think one in like 275,000 packs on the auto. So not many there, but cool. It will have current Team Canada, and they'll also honor their past Team Canada players as well. All right, the next story and the last one here in the news segment makes me a little sad, even though it does give an opportunity to collectors to own some great baseball historic items. Tom Seaver passed away in 2020 at age 75. His family is giving a good sizable portion of his collection, his personal collection, to Heritage Auctions for their Winter Platinum Night auction, which runs till March 1st. Such items such as game-worn items, including hats, his 1969 Mets World Series ring, his Hall of Fame plaque, which is given to you when you enter the hall, like a personal one that stays with you. That will be available for auction. Over 2,000 cards signed by other players and Tom Seaver, some apparel, a pretty extensive part of his collection now on Heritage. Kind of makes me a little sad as a Mets fan, but fellow Mets fans or Tom Seaver fans or just memorabilia collectors now have an opportunity to add some of that Tom Seaver collection to their collection.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, first off, congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks on their second Super Bowl championship. Not the most exciting game. I think we probably all can agree to that. Not a touchdown to the third quarter. It looked like Jason Myers might be your MVP with 5 field goals. But, I predicted the score to be Seattle 23-14. So I wasn't that far off. 2 great defenses, right? So you knew this wasn't going to necessarily probably be a shootout. And it really, like I said, wasn't. Kind of a plotting game, if you will. But let's talk about sort of the hobby fallout. Again, Drake May, not a great performance, a couple more turnovers. Really wasn't a great postseason for Drake May. Great season for Drake May, not a great postseason for Drake May. And let's keep in mind when we talk about Drake May, this is his second year in the league, and he just barely lost the MVP to a veteran in his late stages of his career, Matthew Stafford. They have some line problems in New England. So Campbell probably going to be moved inside rather than stay at left tackle. A little short arms are hurting him, which was the kind of the scouting report coming into the draft. They got to fix that line. It's got some holes in it. And to think what Drake May's done this year, his receivers are okay. You got Stephon Diggs. I can make an argument Stephon Diggs is not a 1. He's their 1 in a sense, but or you might argue Hunter Henry is their 1. But they got to beef up that wide receiver room, fix that line. Drake May's legit. I know, again, the postseason wasn't the strongest part of his year, but he's legit. He's a real deal. I believe New England has found their quarterback. Hobby-wise, maybe this loss isn't the worst thing in the world. I think you can pick up, Drake May's a lot cheaper now than had he been hoisting the Lombardi. So I think, I think he's still a buy, and maybe even more so now off a loss. So I think they got their guy. He can run. I think we even saw that in the Super Bowl, right? His running ability allows him to extend plays, to make plays with his arm. Now, the Super Bowl, again, not his best performance. Some of the throws were head-scratching. I thought he left a lot of air under the ball instead of putting a little zip on it. But, I thought the lights were probably bright for him. You got to remember, he's still in his second year. Again, not a great performance offensively for the Patriots, but Trayvon Henderson, I think, is going to be a legit back. Again, there's a committee there with Stevenson, and but Henderson's capable of being a 3-down back. And so he's a guy, if you like to speculate on running backs, he might be somebody I look at. I wouldn't shy away. Tight ends, wide receivers, there's no one there I would go nuts wise as far as hobby wise goes. But great year for the Patriots. They're back. Vrabel, in his first year got him to the Super Bowl. He is a very, very good coach. Let's go to the champs here. Sam, let's start out with Sam Darnold. Journeyman, right? But this year was an incredible year. I think he found a home, right? Sometimes it takes, changes of scenery, maybe a better coaching to get you settled. And you know what? You can say what you want about Sam Darnold. He's a Super Bowl champion. He has a ring. He has something that the likes of Dan Marino, Lamar Jackson don't have. And he's not going to apologize for that, nor should he. Let's talk about Sam Darnold's hobby. I think he's definitely, I don't think anyone's going to argue with me here. He's not an elite quarterback, but he can win you some games. I mean, look what he did in Minnesota last year. I think he won 13 games there. And then you add what he did with Seattle, including winning 10 straight to close out the year, including the postseason. His Super Bowl wasn't tremendous, but what did he not do that Drake May did? Turn the ball over, right? So 0 turnovers. Drake May turned the ball over. That was the difference in the game when you have two great defenses, right? The two great defenses going against each other. Whoever turns the ball over the most is most likely going to lose the game. And that's exactly what happened there. So, Sam Darnold was tasked with, hey, don't lose us this game. Move us up the field and down the field. Don't give up the ball. And that's exactly what they did. Sam Darnold, touchdown to Barner, over 200 yards. Again, not a great line, but good enough to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Then they can never take that away. I think he's found his home at this point in Seattle. And maybe Minnesota's rethinking that decision to let him go and hand the reins over to J.J. McCarthy. Nothing they can do about it at this point. But as far as hobby goes, he's going to get an uptick. Anytime you win a Super Bowl and you're a quarterback, your cards are going to get an uptick. Is he going to win the Super Bowl next year? Probably not. You never know. He could, but I wouldn't bet on it. But how would I describe Sam Darnold as a quarterback? He is a good to very good quarterback. He's not elite. He's not great. He has shown, in his career, propensity to struggle at times, although this year was not one of the kind of years for him. So, he's aged. He's not old. But he's at that age where he's figuring things out, right? The light bulb's going on. He's got a better coaching system in place. Keep in mind, he's going to lose his offensive coordinator as Clint Kubiak takes on the role as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So we'll see how this plays out for next year. I wouldn't be backing up the Brinks truck necessarily to buy a bunch of Sam Darnold. If you have some, maybe now's, no doubt now's the time probably to start listing those colored cards, numbered cards, rookie cards, RPA of Sam Darnold. He's the Super Bowl champion. May never happen again, so strike while the iron's hot. Let's talk about the guy who won the MVP in the Super Bowl. He's a guy I really like. He shares the load with Charbonneau when Charbonneau is not hurt. But when Charbonneau went down, Kenneth Walker shows that he can be a sole workhorse type back. I already knew that in my mind, but I think he proved that to a lot of other people. So what do they do? I don't know. When Charbonneau comes back off injury next year, do they still go by running back by committee? Or do they move one? We'll see. My venture, I guess they probably still use the two-back rotation with Charbonnet and, Kenneth Walker. But Kenneth Walker, if you like running backs, he's right up there in that, probably top 8, top 10 for sure of backs in the NFL. And, almost had 130 something yards, MVP. He actually scored on like another 30, 40 yard run, which was called back due to a holding call. So could have easily had 170 yards and a touchdown. He's a guy I think you can rely on. And he's cheap, in the hobby wise, he's cheap to pick up if you want to collect a running back or you're, a Seahawks fan that wants to collect a certain player. I'd have no problem, making Kenneth Walker that guy. Remains to be seen, what they do. I know he came out of the game with a suspected concussion, but then re-entered. Didn't have a great stat line, but, Jackson Smith and Jigba is probably in the top three of wide receivers in the NFL today, with the other two being, in my opinion, Jamar Chase and Puka Nacua. I think Justin Jefferson's kind of taken a couple steps down, maybe not even as a result of himself, but that quarterback room there in Minnesota. But I think the top three receivers in the game today are Chase, Nacua, and Jigba. And and Jigba's young. It's why they traded DK Metcalf. They knew what they had in Jackson, and he's going to be around a while. I think he's legit. He set some records this year. I don't think there's going to be another Jerry Rice, but, there's a great group of young receivers, Puka, Jamar, as I said, and now Jackson's staking his claim to, being one of the best receivers in football. What does he have that, at least, Jamar doesn't have? That's a ring. So I would have no trouble buying him. I think, I looked before I turned on the mic. I mean, you can still get JSN rookies for $1 or $2 select and those kind of things. And, even optics, not crazy money. I'd be buying him because whether he wins another ring or not is neither here nor there. He's going to be up near the top of those receiving leaders every year for the next, 5 to 7 years, if not longer. So, Seattle's got a good nucleus, right? With Walker, Charbonnet, and Jigba. They could probably use another number 2 receiver, more solid number 2. But look what they did with the roster they had. So Mike McDonald, his second year as head coach, got his ring, and I think Seattle's going to be in the mix for the next 3 to 5 years, in the very least. That dark side defense is legit. For a while there, like New England might get shut out here in this Super Bowl, but wasn't a ton of star power. But there are stars on both these teams. I know, again, going back to Drake May, not a great performance, but maybe a great time to buy. Often not great. I think he's better than the postseason he's had. Look at his regular season. He's young. I think it's hard. Postseason's a lot of pressure. Those lights are hot. I thought that was really the difference, right? Lights were hot for Drake. And, Sam was more of a veteran, and he didn't turn to, and that was, so there's some guys I would definitely buy, and there's some guys I would sell, and I know, I'm probably selling Sam Darnold, not because I think he's terrible. I just think this is probably the pinnacle, right? There's probably not going to be a guy that wins 3 or 4 rings. Maybe he doesn't even win a second one. So if you're in that space, buying and selling cards, now's probably the time to move your Darnolds. For how many years you if you were sitting on them or couldn't move them, because of the struggles and going from one organization to the next. I think he's found a home with the Seahawks. Obviously you're going to roll with him after a Super Bowl win, and him being a starting Super Bowl winning quarterback. He had incredible. So he's going to be there at least for a few more seasons in the minimum with that contract that he just signed. And so, if you're sitting on some Darnolds, now's probably the time to maybe make them available for those that are looking to add them to your. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up. We'll keep this, that wraps up this year's NFL season. My team, the Steelers, have a new coach, a new old coach in Mike McCarthy. And so, nice to see a fresh voice there and gives us some optimism as Steelers fans. So with that being said, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.